What is going on, guys? Houndish here, and thanks a lot for dropping by today for another Destiny video. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the House of Wolves DLC and the fact that there's been no raid, and I know that kind of everyone has been talking about this all week, and I'm a little bit late on this one. I do apologise. I've been very busy this week. In fact, I've had just a fucking awful week, to be frank about it. But anyway, I'm here now and I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the disappointment of having no raid in the DLC to start with, which is definitely a thing for me. I'm absolutely disappointed about the fact that there won't be a raid, and as a community we kind of got comfortable with the idea that we would always be having them when there was a new update, but that was in fact never promised by Bungie. So it's one of those, we kind of just expected it. But is it really a good or bad thing? Now obviously we've all got our own personal opinion about that, and kind of, you know, a lot of us are disappointed, but we need to look at kind of the other content that we've had in Destiny so far, the previous expansions and the vanilla content from the game. So like the Dark Below was very much a raid based DLC, Crota's End raid, and if you weren't playing that raid you weren't really getting your money's worth out of the DLC. That's pretty much the case. But in the House of Wolves they're trying to open up more emphasis on PvP, which definitely needs some love in Destiny. Come on, we've had kind of just recycling the Iron Banner over and over. A couple of game modes like Inferno, which I'm not going to say are bad, but they don't really change the way that the PvP plays or the importance of the PvP. And as a PvP veteran from back in the day, you know, that's always what I used to say far before I was raiding. So this is a great thing. And then we've got smaller team PvE, the Prison of Elders, or the Arena as you may know it. That kind of opens up a lot more opportunities for smaller teams and people to build, you know, smaller 3 teams to actually go in there and get some stuff done, because not everyone kind of has the time to play raids or wants to play in big teams of 6. So, you know, we're kind of filling some of the gaps in Destiny with this DLC, some of the things that perhaps should have been there along with a raid, but weren't. So this is definitely good stuff. It opens up more auxiliary content for kind of things to have more replayability, have more purpose to do them again, which is, you know, a great thing. And then we've got the upgrade system, so we can finally have Fatebringers at a new level, and that's definitely going to be really interesting. And the thing that's worth remembering as well about all of this is that we're still going to have to loot for our upgrades and our new gear, kind of very much in the same way that we used to do in the raids anyway. So it's still going to be very much a case of grinding to get your gear, and I think, you know, despite the fact that the Prison of Elders is probably going to be smaller than raid and have a smaller team, you know, it's still going to be challenging and it's still going to be something new to learn, and like I said, a new environment to kind of get your head around. So I think, you know, despite the fact that I am disappointed there is no raid, there are a lot of good things that can come out of this DLC. Now, what I would always have argued is that this kind of content should have been available outside of raids anyway. You know, we should have had raids and this kind of content. So it's a shame that they haven't always both been there in the DLCs, and, you know, Bungie haven't kind of worked as hard or done as much in that kind of area, but still it's here now, and it's going to kind of break things up a little bit for how we play Destiny, which is great. So having said that, I wanted to talk about some of the content that we're going to be getting in the new DLC and some speculation on how it may operate within the game, and also these speculations are kind of ways that I think it would work well, and I could see myself being fairly comfortable playing that content. So to start with, we need a quality loot system in general. So whether you're playing PvP Trials of Osiris or the PvE Prison of Elders, I think both of those things should drop end game, you know, loot. So you should be able to reach max rank with gear from both of those things. That would definitely be a great thing. It would be a terrible thing to put endgame gear in only one of them, whether it's the PvE or the PvP. But I think especially it would be terrible to put it in the Trials of Osiris, because such a relatively small amount of Destiny's player base is interested in PvP content. A lot of the people I speak to truly aren't, and I can say for myself personally, I wouldn't be happy having to do that to get my endgame content, although I do believe that you should be able to. So if you're a PvP player and you love that, that's where you want to go get all of your gear, you know, you're good enough to do that, then go do it. That would be awesome, and I've always said that that should be the case. But just make sure that we get a quality balance system so you can get good loot whichever way you go, or can be able to pick and choose between different types of loot by playing different content, you know, build the best class possible. That would make this DLC a lot more fun. Now, to talk about upgrading old gear, because we know that we're going to be able to upgrade old gear in some capacity. They kind of use the example of a Fatebringer, and we can assume that might be armor as well, and all other raid weapons, things like that. Now that would be really good. The terrible thing would be to just make it simply upgradable. So you go to some kind of faction or some kind of guy in the tower, and, you know, you buy a material, you collect a couple of other materials, and then just upgrade it. The way I think would be a really good thing to do would be to actually make you play the old content. Now, when I say this, kind of don't fear, I don't mean for RNG. So I don't mean play a new level raid of the Vault of Glass just until you get a new Fatebringer. But what I think should be the case is that if they add a new level difficulty to the Vault of Glass, you can go ahead and play that, and then when you complete the section where you would kind of pick up that particular loot, you can actually get an upgrade material upon completion of that section. It would give us a great reason to go and play some of that old content again. So that is a way that I think this would work out really well. So overall, I wouldn't say that it's a good thing there isn't a raid, because that definitely is not the case. I think it's a shame there is not a raid, but at the same time, it's definitely a good thing that these other elements of Destiny are finally getting some love. The PvP has definitely needed something new for a long time, and then smaller PvE content is something that was always a possibility with Destiny that was just never explored. Essentially scaling down raids, changing the idea up a little bit, making it more accessible, to smaller groups and a wider margin of the player base in Destiny. This is a good thing. So overall, I am really excited for this DLC. I can't wait to get in there, start grinding new gear, finding ways to get the gear and all of that stuff. I'm really excited to see how it's all going to play out, and over the next couple of weeks we're going to be getting a fair amount of information from Bungie regarding that. So anyway guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below. How do you feel about this DLC? You're disappointed about the raid, but are you excited about the other content? Do you not care that there isn't a raid? Or has this totally destroyed Destiny for you at the minute? But bear in mind, we've got a lot to see yet. We need to full on know what is going to happen, what this content kind of means and details for the game before we can make that decision. So anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please drop me a like and that comment down below, and hit that subscribe button for a lot more Destiny content as well. But for now, you guys take it easy, and I'll catch you very, very soon. Peace out.